if you keep repeating the same patterns in life or feel stuck while others seem to just rise effortlessly and make everything seem easy, it may not actually be what you're doing. It may be to do with your self concept and what you believe in yourself. And so, in today's video, this might be the missing technique that you need to really come into a new identity, be the person who you really want to be, and manifest everything that you've been dreaming of. My name is Lisa Sice, and I'm a coach, and I do uplifting, inspiring content on YouTube. I love making videos that hopefully help you and help others out there to lift and rise and become the best version of themselves. So thank you for stopping in, and I'm sure today's video will really help you learning a better self-concept of yourself. Now, this is something I speak from personal experience, so the stuff I share is a lot of stuff that I've learned and personal things that I've had to overcome. So a little bit about my story. I was in the beauty business for about 20 years, and so that was my whole identity. That's who I was. I loved it, and I also really I enjoyed life, and so that was sort of who I was. And then I had a big awakening a couple of years ago, and basically realized that who I was, I didn't want to be anymore. Where I was, I didn't want to be anymore. Everything in my life changed. And so I then decided I wanted to go on this new journey and become this new person. I wanted to do like inspiring content. I changed. I did a lot of personal growth and development, and inspired to be like those that I had learned from and really changed my life around. But because I had such a strong self concept and still, working on my self concept, I kept being stuck and put in a box. I was kind of labeled in a box. People get an idea of who you are. You have an idea of who you are, and we can get stuck there. So when we really want to change and become a different person, it can almost feel impossible because everyone around us is mirroring who we were, and we even still believe that that's who we are. Yet to be that inspiring coach and content creator, it really required me to shift my whole identity, because I also wanted to look after my health. I wanted to become the best version of me. I wanted to feel really good. I wanted to look really good. I wanted to, inspire others. And some content that I really wanted to create was manifesting content and this type of self concept and wiring a new identity. Yet I was still stuck in my old identity, working on a new identity. I was sort of clinging on to it like an old teddy bear from my childhood because it was familiar, right? When we are wiring a new identity and we're like showing up as a new person, it feels different because it's not who we've been our whole life. And so we can really cling on to the past. I was clinging on to all my old school nail products just in case, making questionable decisions at times. And, I'm still human. And that's the thing, like, you still got to realize you're a human, and we can choose, we can make choices, and sometimes we're like, I don't know if that was the best choice. But the thing is, as long as we learn and grow, that's the main thing. So really, when we're wiring in a new identity, it's being conscious and being, when you're in this new frame of being, you're more conscious about who you are, how you're showing up. We can still act reactively, because that's could be in your wiring, And so working on that, but if you're checking in and be like, oh wow, I was quite reactive there, and how could I handle that differently? Then you're already changing the neural pathways into being more conscious and aware of what you're doing and how you're showing up. So really wiring all this in just takes being intentional, being conscious, and really understanding what is beliefs that you have wired in from day dot. And so they're almost your identity. And then what beliefs that you want to now wire in. A couple of things I grew up with believing is that you've got to work really hard to get money. And for some people that's not even their belief in their existence. So it's like, not saying that I was wrong, but also there's people that don't work hard and they just money comes to them naturally. So, that's the thing with identities and beliefs. Whatever we believe is true in our world. So when we're wiring in a new identity, it's wiring in new beliefs, but we've got to really work on the self concept first. Who I am and what I identify with by how I was growing up, by the people around me, by people that installed information and programming into my brain as I was growing up. These are all part of your beliefs and your self concept about yourself. So we've also got to look at how we speak to ourselves, how like what our internal stories are that play in our mind when a situation happens. Like how, if they're constantly negative or we're constantly making a story up about an interaction that actually may not even be true. We've just made the story up about this person or whatever. And we've also maybe made stories up about ourselves and why we can't do things. And how we're speaking to ourselves is the biggest key. What we're saying, if we're constantly unconsciously saying things like, oh, things never go my way, or life sucks, it's hard, money's evil, I never have enough, like, why does all this always happen to me? These are the internal wiring and the stories that are we telling ourselves, the things that we are filling ourselves with constantly on a day-to-day uh, basis. So really to change this, it takes work in becoming conscious in how we speak to ourselves and what we allow, like the way other people speak, what we allow in and what we take on. We don't have to take on everything that other people believe and they say, right? Now, I know you're probably watching and going, okay, cool. Like, how's this video going to help me? How's this different? And in my approach in this video, I'm setting this up with some guided affirmations and meditations. So I really do believe if you follow what I suggest in this video and work with the affirmations in the morning and the evening meditation for 21 days, I'll be doing videos each week. That I do believe that you will really start changing your self-concept. And when we change our self-concept, we feel so much better about ourselves. We notice synchronicities in the universe. We're able to manifest things just like miracles, and we actually start believing in this version of ourselves. And when we start believing, that's when everything just shifts. And then you'll just notice you align with people that are just on the same path or that help you to go where you want to go. And it's just like life starts feeling alive and electric because you're now on this new journey of self-growth, discovery, and following the path that you really want to go on. So what is self-concept? Self-concept is the story of what we believe ourselves to be. is a collection of beliefs, labels, assumptions, and identities that we carry around about ourselves. So, self concept is where we believe certain things, and these things quite often aren't even true, but we do create our reality by believing these things. So, by working on our self concept, working on our beliefs of ourselves, this is when we can really start creating the reality that we dream of, or the reality that we want to see. And most of us don't even know that we have a self concept because we just believe it to be like, that's just me. And so quite often we're like, well, that's just me. But that's actually a self concept belief. So you can believe that that's just you, or you can choose to do this work and believe you as someone different. It just takes the work, and it takes you believing in yourself. So here is the exercise. Make sure you get a pen and paper, or write some notes in your phone if you want to. I do really believe this exercise is going to be super beneficial for you. And if you follow along with everything that I suggest in this video, I can't wait to see you have a new self-concept and work towards that new identity in yourself. So let's get to it. So now I want you to imagine your future self, maybe in a year to 3 years, wherever you feel is achievable for you. It doesn't have to be way in the future or your ultimate North Star. It can just be maybe in a year or a couple of years' time where it's achievable for you. Or if you really want to, you can imagine your future self in the very future. But for this to wire in and feel achievable, it's always good to have like a 1 to 3 year goal. And so imagine this future self version of you. Imagine this person is someone who you really admire. They are your higher self. They are the person that they are you. They are inside of you. And they're just waiting for you to start believing in yourself, because it just takes for that self-concept and belief for you to really wire in that future self. They are there creating the life that you desire right now. So I want you to now ask yourself a couple of these questions. Imagine yourself as them and ask yourself, how do they think? How do they speak to themselves every day? How do they treat themselves? What do they do in their free time? What do they no longer tolerate in their life? What habits have they now let go of? What do they do every morning? Now I want you to ask yourself, if you could do one thing today that aligns you with your future version of yourself, what would it be? Now the next exercise is to write a letter to yourself in this future version of yourself, your higher self. I want you to really feel into who that person is, what they're doing, how they feel. Like, really get into your body and feel this. This is a great way to wire in the feeling. And also, if you can do this like in the morning, at night, and with the meditations that I'll be putting out as well, you can really feel into that feeling of that future version. And you're not worrying about how to get there because you are embodying that person each day and the answers will come. So all you need to worry about is that feeling there. And so when you're in this future version of yourself, I want you to then write a letter to your current you. And in this letter, you're going to talk about how amazing you feel, like how proud of yourself you are for coming all this way, like what your life looks like, how it feels. You can be specific or you can be vague if it feels too, if you're not exactly sure what you want. Maybe just how you feel, how you look, what your habits are, what you like, the type of person you are. And I want you to write to this current version of you like an encouragement letter. I want you to give some tips of what you did when you to go overcome things, overcome any obstacles, or just how you kept believing in yourself. And this letter is to really inspire the current you. So anytime you go through some hard patches or some doubts, or like the old you is knocking at the door trying to like crash the parade, crash the party, you can go back to this letter and you can really wire in the future you, and you're like, oh yeah, no, this is the vision that is already there. And so this is just a really encouraging letter to keep you in that feeling and those beliefs of that future you. So also wiring in like what their new beliefs are, what they believe in themselves and how that feels. And so this is great for you to keep in your bedside table or somewhere safe that you can open and read, or maybe even on your wall if you want to, so you can really look at it anytime you're having a moment where the old you keeps wanting to pop up, or people say things that are like, oh, that's not you, or, they want to remind you of the old you. You can just be like, that's their belief, not mine. And because you're now wiring in these new beliefs and this new self concept of yourself. So if you keep reminding yourself of this letter, keep wiring in the affirmations that I'll also leave in the description of this video, and there'll be a meditation, a morning affirmation meditation, and then an evening meditation, really just imagining that future self so you can go to bed feeling really good. And I believe if you do this for the next 21 days, there'll be 1 week meditation for 1 week, and then it will change for the next week, just so there's a little bit of a change over those 21 days. Then I believe that this will really, really help. And also just note, the future self note will really help you, because when we go through an identity shift and change, we have a thing called an ego death, which can feel quite full on because a part of us is actually dying while we're wiring in a new self concept. And so I'll do a video about ego death as well, but that is really just the old you wanting to kind of pull you back. And so it can feel challenging at times, but if you just keep wiring in the new you, keep reminding yourself of who you are becoming, and know that life will always present us with challenges. And so, but when we are wiring in this new identity, we know that we have the strength to get through them. And if you're anything like me, I'm quite opportunist, and so when I get presented with certain opportunities, I think everything is like meant to be. But sometimes it's just the universe testing you a little bit to see like how strong your new identity is, or if you're still a little bit of the old identity and you're wanting to you know maybe boundaries are something that you're really wanting to wire in strong boundaries. So you might get your boundaries tested a little bit. And nothing's ever right or wrong. We always learn from everything and every experience we have and do. It's just more like when you're in your identity, that you'll have boundaries of what you will put up with and what you won't put up with. And sometimes those tests are a good reminder to kind of confirm what you will and won't put up with. So that's just a little reminder as well. At the end of the day, it's all about being conscious and aware of the choices we're making and being intentional with who we're choosing to be. And so over the next few weeks, I'll be doing more videos of these, also some videos into identity, a bit of shadow work, and how a lot of this ties in with manifestation. And so when we are working on our self concept, really wiring a new identity and doing our shadow work in a way that is productive and empowering, we can really come into a strong place of manifesting our desires. And so this is what I'll be working on and going over the next few weeks. So like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have you on board, and I really hope that you have learned something out of this video and that you've taken away something. And also let me know in the comments, what is a identity or belief that you're ready to release and let go of, that is no longer serving you. And if you ever need any more help, you're welcome to check my website out, lisasice.com. I do coaching on there as well. Or if you need any other extra support, I will be looking at doing a worksheet alongside this. So stay tuned for all of that. And I really can't wait to see you in the next video. Much love and belief, Lisa Sice. Bye.